I'm pleased to say we're joined by the former host of the At The Oche radio show, all the way from New Zealand, Ben Francis. Thanks for the time, Ben. How are you doing?
Yeah, hey guys, good to be back on. Really glad to talk to you guys again. Everything's going well down in this part of the world.
Glad to hear it. And we're talking less than a week before the PDC's annual stop down under for the World Series. Lots to catch up on, but let's just touch on those events coming up in Wollongong and Hamilton over the next 2 weekends. How much are you looking forward to seeing your home players from New Zealand take on the PDC Stars?
Yeah, look, I think every time this year comes around, there's always a sense of excitement. For some of these guys, it's a rare opportunity to play on the stage. Most of the guys, the Kiwi guys that is anyway, who are featuring this year have been on that stage before, bar one. So there's going to be another opportunity for them to really test themselves, see whereabouts they're at, especially heading into this time of year where we're going to have qualifiers for the World Champs and all sorts to play for as well. So it's always really exciting, and as I say, it's always good to see those Kiwi boys up on stage, and it's a really good chance for them to play in front of a home crowd, get those cheers in front of those home supporters as well, because that's an experience that some of them will never forget.
And we were talking off there, you said there's been a lot more mainstream media coverage for darts off the back of Luke Littler's emergence on the scene. So what has the interest been like in the game since his run to the World Championship final?
Yeah, look, firstly with that mainstream media, lots of it has been centred around Luke Littler in terms of just TV news coverage, radio news coverage as well, and even just generally more people just talking about darts. Look, I'd say there's been quite a few young people interested in the sport as well. It's really hard to kind of gauge at the moment, though, to be honest. It's because it's still fairly new, but I kind of compare it to when Fallon created history at the World Champs and how big of a moment that was to the sport. This was really next level. I had people talking to me about darts and people asking questions that I really didn't think actually really cared about the sport, and it's incredible that a 17-year-old has had that much of an impact on the game. And I think definitely lots of the excitement heading into the Darts Masters down here is seeing Luke Humphreys down here for the first time as well, because those two guys are just absolutely killing it in the sport at the moment, and there's definitely a lot of intrigue and a lot of hype around those guys. So getting the opportunity to see them in the flesh and hopefully see them play well and do some of the crazy things on the dartboard that they've been doing as well. People are hoping to be a part of history and witness that. I think part of that has probably been driven by the mainstream media coverage. Everything is usually driven around Luke Littler, so if there's a Luke Littler angle, that's going to be the main angle that's covered. But I think there's definitely been a few of the Kiwi boys getting a bit of coverage in some of the papers and on the radio as well, which is great to see for them.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about some of those Kiwi boys and rewind 12 months ago. We had you on the show just before last year's World Series events in Australia and New Zealand, and it was Johnny, Tata and Haupai Puha who both picked up wins on home soil. You were there covering the event as media as well. You spoke to them, you spoke to the eventual winner in Hamilton, Rob Cross. What was your experience like being there last year?
Yeah, look, it was of course the second year back after the break from COVID, and I think that last year rose to another level. I think is probably the best way to say it. It was the first time back. It was weird. It was like, oh my God, we're actually back. There was a true sense of normality, even though things in New Zealand still weren't proper. Last year, it really felt like it was back. And look, seeing Johnny Tata, he beat Peter Wright in his first ever televised game. That was such an awesome experience for him. And then the flow-on effect that had for him as well, going on to reach the WDF quarterfinals at Lakeside was such an awesome experience. I think he was the first New Zealander to reach that stage as well, so that was awesome. And even Haupai just once again showing what he's capable of on stage and beating a top quality player. And look, we all know that Haupai is capable of those performances. He's done it before on the World Series stage, and you always look at performances like that and always think that can always instill a bit of confidence and belief, and hopefully that looked like that could have played a part in him becoming the first Kiwi to get a tour card, which is such an awesome story. And Rob Cross winning, look, great. I'm happy for him. He'd come down here. First time was after he won the World Champs, and it was the first time I had seen Rob personally feeling a bit comfortable and relaxed, because, as I said, first year down, he was just coming in as the world champion. There was a bit of it was almost kind of like that, the whole pressure of being the world champion got to him a little bit. He was feeling a bit fatigued. The year after, he was feeling a bit better about things, and then we had the COVID break and everything, and he came back, he looked like he was refreshed down here and probably the happiest to seen him. So overall, it was a great tournament. Getting 2 Kiwis winning on the stage, that's what we want to see, and hopefully get a couple more winners this year as well. We've got our fingers crossed.
We shall see. Well, sticking with Johnny Tata, you mentioned his run to the quarterfinals at Lakeside, but another player who caught the eye that week was Nicole, making her first appearance in the ladies' draw, pushing Eileen de Graaf all the way to a last leg. And we know the challenges for New Zealand players competing regularly in Europe. There's a lot of travelling and money, but do you think we're going to see Nicole maybe pursue more events over here, maybe play the Women's Series one day?
Oh, look, you like to hope so. You know, she's definitely got the capability. She's an awesome player. It was the Australian Open a couple of years ago, I think, that she beat Lisa Ashton up on that stage over there across the ditch. And you know, she's someone that has definitely got a lot of skill, and someone who's young. She's been playing on the DPNZ tour this year as well, I've noticed, and testing herself against all the top players in New Zealand. So I'm sure that this year she's going to gain a lot of experience and be a better player for it. And look, anyone representing New Zealand on the stage, being such a small country, you always want to cheer and support them on. But someone who has got a lot of talent and the ability to be a top women's player, you definitely want to support as well. It's definitely a growing aspect of the game. There's clubs around New Zealand where there is actually really strong women turnout in tournaments as well. And you know, those players for that level are awesome players. And if you've got someone like Nicole who is representing New Zealand proud, and someone like that is an inspiration to look up to, it's only good things for the sport, and anyone representing New Zealand on the stage is great, and we want to see more New Zealanders up there representing our country and just playing darts and showing what we're capable of, because you know, those, as we say, those opportunities are very few and far between. So it's a lot of work to get to that position, but it can be rewarding once you get there.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully we'll see more of her soon. And when we last spoke, you said you believed it wouldn't be long before a Kiwi won a tour card. Your prediction came true this year. Haupai Puha topping the European Q School Order of Merit. He didn't even need to play the last day. The job was done. How much of a milestone is that for New Zealand darts to now have a player on the tour?
Oh, look, it's such an awesome... it's so awesome. Like, I think I've been saying that for many years, though, so it's great it finally came true. But look, Haupai, he's been a great player on the New Zealand darts scene for quite a few years now, and for him to finally achieve that, there's always a lot of pressure on the Kiwi guys, as we touch on the whole money aspect side of trying to get over to that part of the world, especially at Christmas time, because often the guys that do go play in Q School are over there to play in the World Champs, and they stay over there for a long period and then go to the Q School. So they're over there for quite a while away from their families and trying to chase the dream, and there's always a lot of pressure on the guys that do that. And we've seen Cody Harris quite a few years ago fell just short a couple of times in Q School, and so close, but you know, for Haupai to get that is awesome, and then for him to, you know, qualify for European Tour events, play at the UK Open. I think he beat Jelle Klaas in the first round on that main stage, and look, just seeing a Kiwi flag up there is just awesome. It's really good for the sport, and you know, he's deserving of that mantle to be that first New Zealander. And I'll make the bold prediction now that hopefully, you know, Ben Robb, if he goes to Q School this year, he gets a shot at the tour card and gets it, and it can just kick on from here. And it's going to be such a big occasion for Haupai in a couple of weeks in Hamilton, being that first real major tournament that he's played in New Zealand since winning his tour card. And I'm hoping he gets a rousing reception that he deserves, because what he's done is awesome. He's a trailblazer in New Zealand darts for achieving what he's done. So as long as he can keep flying that flag proudly and you know, doing his best, you know, that's all we can ask for. It's such a tough thing, you know, leaving his partner and kids at home while he chases his dream. It can't be easy. A lot of pressure, but you know, he's done such an awesome job so far. And you know, as a Kiwi darts fan, you know, can't be proud. Have to be proud.
Good times, and we saw Haupai on our screens recently at the World Cup with Ben Robb, who you mentioned, and they pushed the host Germany all the way in the group stage, 42 left, and Gabriel Clemens takes out the 1-2-4 on the bull. A great finish, but that must have been gutting to see it happen against your players who played so well.
Oh, totally. I had a feeling you were going to bring this up, and look, it was one of those things where you were sitting there thinking, well, this is going to be such an awesome win. Confident. I was feeling confident, man. If they could beat Germany, they should beat Finland. They'll go through to that next stage, and Gabriel steps up and hits that triple 20. And it's one of those things where as soon as that first dart goes in, you just have that feeling. You have that feeling like he's going to hit this, and when he got it, it was a sense of, I was like, of course, bugger, he got it. But you had that sense in the back of your mind he was going to get it, but you were just hoping he was going to miss and New Zealand was going to get that shot to win it. The way I can describe it, the only way I can describe it is, it's not disappointment because you're proud of the effort that they put up on that stage, and look, both Ben and Haupai played awesome darts across those two games. It's like heartbreak. It'd be like, I don't know, like let's use Liverpool as an example. Liverpool, on the cusp of winning the Premier League title, and Steven Gerrard slips over and Chelsea score, and you just watch it slip from your grasp, and it's just heartbreaking to see. Like, that's probably the best way I can describe it, using a bit of football analogy there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it was the first time that Haupai and Ben have teamed up together for that event, so lots of potential going forward. And the winners of the World Cup, they were England. Darts did come home, Luke Humphries and Michael Smith winning it. And we spoke to you about Michael last year. It was just after he signed up with the New Zealand darts brand Shot, and he's recently signed a long-term extension on that deal. And you said to us before there was a lot of excitement back home around the deal, one of the top players signing with Shot. So what has the impact been like in the last 12 months?
Yeah, look, I think it's one of those things where it's awesome seeing a top player wanting to have a New Zealand brand representing them, and it comes back to one of those things where it's just over in New Zealand, if there's any connection whatsoever, you just love to make it and be like, that's so cool. Michael Smith's darts are made here in New Zealand, and it's just that whole connection thing that New Zealanders just love to see. And I've seen quite a few of his darts around. I personally haven't had a throw with them myself, but I think it's just one of those cool things to see Michael Smith, see the Shot brand up there, and from a Shot perspective as well, it's just great seeing they've got quite a few players on the books now that are doing well. See Haupai, of course, he's under Shot as well. Just Bradley Brooks, just recently on the books too, and you've got some great players there just wearing that Shot brand, and just anything that connects New Zealand to these top players is just such an awesome thing.
Well, let's get on to you, and we'll come on to your next darts project in a moment. But away from the Oche, it sounds like it's been a challenging time for you. You told us you had a major accident last year. You've had a lot of time off work. Can you talk us through what happened?
Do you really want to know?
if you want to say.
No. So it was, how long ago was it now? Would have been, and so I'm just trying to do the maths in my head. Would have been coming on 9 months actually. For the record, I just want to state there was no drinking involved. It was pure stupidity. I was literally just trying to put on my shoes, and I fell through a glass door, and I cut through 3 tendons in my lower leg, 2 fully, 1 pretty much almost. Had a heap of nerves in my lower leg as well, so had surgery. Was pretty much out of action for the whole of Christmas period, which was great for watching darts, but pretty limiting on anything else I could do. So over here, Christmas time is summer, so that's the kind of time you want to get out and go to the beach and have a good time doing that. So there was none of that for me this time around. So so I had that going on, and had a lot of time off work, and took me out of action for quite a few things. So it was actually nice to be able to watch things like the darts and not really have to worry about anything, which was quite fun. But it's been quite like anything like that, it's a challenging process and things like that. But we're heading in the right direction. It's taken a little while, but we're getting there. So got that. And what else am I been doing since we last spoke? I started studying, which is quite fun, at university, which is something I've never done before. So month into that, which is quite a lot of fun too, and just trying to work away, get back into the routine of work, and hopefully get some good darts coverage out there very soon from a New Zealand perspective.
Well, I'm glad to hear that the recovery's going well, and looking ahead to some good times coming soon. You're planning to start your own podcast focusing on New Zealand darts. So what are your plans for it, and any idea when we could see that first episode come out?
Yeah, look, I'm kind of hoping to have something at least up before the New Zealand Darts Masters, and hopefully I'll have be able to post my interviews up on there. In terms of how we're looking, and in terms of an actual launch, I'm not 100% too sure yet. Still trying to work through a few things and juggle this thing called life. So I guess the podcast, we want to be talking to the people that are playing New Zealand darts, representing New Zealand darts, and just give them a bit of a platform and a voice just to share their story about how they got into darts and some of the things that they've achieved in the sport. Because look, we all know the big names in New Zealand darts. We know our Haupai Puhas, we know our Ben Robs, we know our Warren Parrys. There's been some great flag bearers for New Zealand darts, but we want to talk to those people as well that have, let's call them the local pub heroes, the guys that are out there who have, achieved great things on the local scene. Just hear their stories, talk about people who have been involved in the sport, and even just chat things from a New Zealand perspective as well, because, this part of the world, we're not there firsthand seeing everything, so we see a lot from a New Zealand perspective, and just offer our perspective from New Zealand. So that's going to be the plan, but I'll hopefully have something up and running, as I say, where I can publish my interviews by the time New Zealand rolls around next week. In terms of when we actually get these interviews rolling, it's a bit of a TBC at the moment, but that's the plan.
Well, we look forward to that, and I'm assuming that you've tapped up your former co-host Ben Robb to come on the show as well.
I actually haven't, to be honest. We'll still, let's say, we'll try to work something out in terms of how we format it and how we do it. But we just want to get those voices out there and just share some stories, because there are some awesome stories out there, and even if one person hears it and they're inspired, to pick up a dart and have a throw and things like that, that's all you want out of it. So if it's just giving these guys a platform to hear their voice, because down here we're sick of hearing about our cricketers and our rugby players about how hard things are as a professional athlete collecting six-figure paychecks. So let's hear from our real grinders, our real battlers and our dart players, and just trying to have fun and what experiences that life has come around in darts and the things that they've achieved. So look, there's been we can even talk to some of the guys who have just had the one shot up on those stages, and that they've just had that one game, and even what that experience was like, and their takeaways from it and stuff like that. So there's some awesome stuff out there. So we'll look to tap into that. So it's going to be a lot of fun when we get that up and running.
Good stuff. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that, Ben. It's great to get you on the show, and wish you all the best with the new project, and best of luck to all the New Zealand players in the World Series and what else is to come in 2024 as well.
Yeah, looking forward to it, guys. It should be a lot of fun. It's always our favourite time of the year when this rolls around. You get to see all the big names down here, and hopefully get a few of those Kiwi winners as well. That's what we love to see the most.